9 months ago, I set up this municipal compost bin to see if it can really turn kitchen scraps, garden waste into usable compost. Now today we are checking out the results to see what decomposed well, what didn't, and what lessons we can take away from this process. So if you always wanted to know how these compost bins work, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get right into it. Now I got this compost bin as part of the City of Cape Town's home composting program. So if you are in the City of Cape Town, or you live in the City of Cape Town, I'll put a link of the City of Cape Town's website so that you can check out when they are rolling out the 2025 home composting program. So when I started the process, I filled it up with kitchen scraps, garden waste, grass clippings, but I also lay it with some carbon-rich material. So I included some leaves, some newspaper clips, and occasionally I also put in ash from the fire. And since I am doing bokashi composting, when my bin was full, I also tossed some of my bokashi compost stuff in here. There was definitely some bones since bokashi composting, you can actually decompose all kind of stuff. So I know that it's recommended that you don't put bones, but I did also include some bones in this compost bag. So today we want to see how did it work. 9 months have passed, so let's hop over to the bin and then we can check out how did the bin perform. So first impressions, I'm very happy with the way it looks. It smells nice and earthy. Now if you look at the compost, you can see that most of the stuff actually broke down, with the exception of some bones. So some of these bones made it into the bin when I was collecting my kitchen scraps. But as you can see, the grass clippings, the leaves, they all disappeared, are gone. Only some bones that they did not decompose. Unfortunately, I do not have a sieve. I'm hoping to get that soon. But yeah, so this is the compost that I will be spreading on my raised bed just to feed the bed for the garden, for the winter garden. Yeah, so let me go in and dump this on the raised bed, and then yeah, I will store the rest of the compost and use them to use others for my seedlings. I will definitely serve that out, using it in to make some seedlings. So in this section, this is where I store some of my other compost. So in December, I got this compost to just create this new loady garden bed. Some of the compost was left, so I will just add this compost also on top of this, and I will sift out the bones and other stuff once I manage to get it stuff. But for now, let's put that over here. So this is compost that I got from the bin. So I'm just using the landscape fabric at the bottom, and then I'm also covering it with landscape fabric to make sure that the rain does not wash it away. So it's just time to start a new cycle again. So I'll just put this back. Yeah, now it's time to restart the process again. So I have some grass clippings here that I will be starting to fill the bin. So here's some of the brown material that I've collected. And other stuff that I will also be using to compost bin. So what are the lessons learned? So the lesson for me is that stirring is not essential, but it can definitely speed things up. No, I didn't, like I said, I didn't stir this compost bin very often. But when I did stir it, I definitely did see that there's some very good improvement in the decomposting. Now, stirring is important because it allows more oxygen into the bin, which will heat up and just fast track the decomposition of the material. So I think next time I will just make sure that I stir maybe more often. But like I said, things managed to break down without me stirring very often. Another lesson that I've also noticed that if you put too much green stuff or food scraps, things can get smelly. So it's important to have that balance, to put some brown material that just balance the stuff. So the green stuff or the green material may allow the heap to heat up. And if you only have too much brown stuff, then the composting process get very much reduced. So it's important to find that balance when it comes to using the compost bin. So another thing that we also see, not everything breaks down. Things like bones and some eggshells are some of the things that did not break down totally. So what you can do is either avoid putting in bones or just make sure that when you harvest your compost, that you make use of a sieve to take out all these items that didn't decompose, and then you can always put it back in your bin when you are restarting your composting bin. Yeah. Another thing is also that dry spells also affect the effectiveness of the bin. So it's important to check out your bins regularly, add some water, just to ensure that things remain moist and balanced. But yeah, so it's important if things are getting dry, totally dry, if your heap dry out completely, then it will definitely slow down the decomposition process. Yeah, so with a little bit of time and effort, you can definitely turn kitchen scraps and garden waste into compost. So it just requires a little bit of effort if you want to speed things up, to make sure that you stir it on a regular basis. But for me, I'm pretty happy because I'm using different composting or fertility methods to keep my garden fertilized, and just to ensure that I always have some stuff to feed my garden. So I make use of the bokashi process, composting. I'm also trying out some other stuff which I will be hoping to share in the next video. Now, if you have one of these bins or compost bin, please, I would like to know your experience. Please drop in the comments how you experience it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Keep on sowing and growing. Peace.